All right, how you guys doing? Welcome to the feed today. Probably wait a minute or two for people to show up and say hi. Um, I know I said last week I wasn't going to have one, but I was just thinking about it, and I saw Todd Castledine had a really interesting video during the week, and I thought it would make a really good topic on coangling and where it's going and what's happening and some effects of the rule changes here, and I thought it'd be worth talking about today. In fact, when you get time here, there's the to Todd's video here. He's a YouTuber. He does a lot of good stuff here. I listen to a lot of his feeds. I thought it was a really interesting take on it. He's a really straightforward guy. Maybe wait a minute or two. Maybe a few more people might pop on here. Oops, I got an echo. I got to take care of that. Okay. There we go. All right. I see there's three people on. If you want to say hi in the chat, so I know who's there, so I can talk to you guys here. Thanks for popping on today here. Didn't realize it was a college game tonight until I just talked to a couple of buddies a little while ago here. I probably wouldn't have had this, but at least we had the replay and everything. Okay, so uh, what I wanted to talk about today is the current status of co-anglers. If you guys haven't paid attention here in the Bassmaster Open series, they made a late call just right before the tournament started. Oh, we're not going to have co-anglers this year. Kind of threw everyone off here. Um, the other thing you may have noticed is there's some heavy linking action going on for both BFLs and Toyotas, and appears to be a shortage of co-anglers. And I want to talk about some of those questions here for our co-angling audience here today. But before we kick that off, I figured I'd have a quick status update here. Some statistics here from a couple of first BFLs from a co-angler point of view and a participation point of view. We'll look at some of that stuff here, just kind of maybe a weekly highlight we can do here. Kind of interesting, big change this year is the limit of 3 fish for co-anglers. So you want to get a feel for the tournament, how those are going to turn out. It's still 5 for boaters in the BFLs. Then I had a couple questions about, some stats on why we might think co-angling is going down here. And, leave it open to everyone else to for the discussion here. So with no further ado here, let's get on to another screen. How about that guy right there? Okay. 2025 tournament reviews. Hey guys, I put out a little poll here. I was working with my daughter. She's a good graphic artist here on this little Bass Angular logo here. I had a few thumbs up here. I'd like to hear some more from people. We've got a couple of variations of it. See what you guys think. So, the Cowboy division, they did their first one on January 4th. I didn't have a chance to look at that data, but they already had their second tournament on the 18th at Toledo Bend. Their first one was on Rayburn. And what you're seeing on the chart here is a 2-axis graph. On the left axis, and these little blue squiggly bar graphs here are in order of first place on down here is how many pounds of bass the co-angler caught in that tournament. And there was 116 co-anglers here. And on the right axis, the orange line is how many fish they caught, with 3 being a limit, 2, 1, 0. So the first thing you see here, about typical for co-anglers, about half the people didn't catch anything. Um, and we can blow that up here. That's my next chart. Oops, went the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so if we blow that up to just approximate 50 that fit, you'll see about uh, 12, 13 got 3, another 12, 15 got 2, and maybe another 20 got 1. Um, why these lines change is this is sorted by weights. And in this case, this guy had a big bass. He only had 2, but he had a large weight. So the winner had 11 pounds, second place 10 pounds, third place a few guys with 9 pounds, 8 pounds here, and then here's all your one fish people stacked up from about 2 pound keeper all the way up to 4 pounds. So I looked at this different circuits, last year, even with the 5 fish limit. It's basically been scaled. Statistics are similar, and we'll see that. So, to win the tournament, 11, 12 pounds, averaging 3 pounds of fish. It's kind of early in the season. The water was cool there. People are behind life filters, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But that's what happened on those legs. Um, to cut a check here, they paid out 20. So to get a check, you needed just over 4 pounds. That's pretty typical from a co-angler position. So you had to get one big bass, and this guy just missed a check with one 4.2 pounder or something here, or a couple of smaller ones. That's typically, before 2, maybe you get a check, 3 for sure. Now it's probably 2. You're going to get a check. So if we look at a probability of a bass catch for that tournament, 58% of the people got 0, 20% got 1, 10% got 2, 12% got 3. So kind of looked online, and sometimes they give you in the MLF, write up, or if you look at the weigh-ins, how they caught them. The boater, he was using a Gameshi rig with forward-facing sonar. He said it was with a freeloader. He also used a Strike King 5-inch drop shot filler worm. And he said they had moved from the week before. He said, the fishing has been really good, and he was catching them out deep on forward-facing sonar on 30 feet. But a few days before the tournament, maybe it's because of pressure, maybe it's because the water's warming them up a little bit, they kind of scattered and were all over the lake. I couldn't find any information on how co-angler caught them in that tournament. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, just drop them in the chat here, and I'll try and address them. If you got here late, we'll kind of provoke this discussion here. I put in the YouTube link over here. This is Todd Cassadine video he dropped last week, and the future of co-anglers. The other tournament they had last Saturday was out of the South Carolina division on Lake Murray. You can see again here some pretty similar trends. About half the co-anglers caught nothing, and then kind of split it, quarter, a quarter, a quarter, a third, and a third, and a third. Here's just a blow up of that. In that case, the winner had 13 pounds. He had 3 fish. You got to get your limit to win almost all the time, unless you got a really big bass here. And then it dropped down a lot. In fact, I think this co-angler actually had the big bass. And then second place was about 10 pounds, and then 9 pounds for third place, 8 pounds. Here again, there's only 85 anglers in this tournament. That's pretty low. It's not as far south. Maybe it's a little colder. It's hard to tell the climates on these really early conditions here. But a 20% payout, they're only going to pay out like 16 here. So again, the cut line here was about 6 pounds. So you needed 2 3 pound bass or better to get a check in this tournament. Hey Bill, thanks for coming out. Thanks for the cast. Watching a factory tour of Lexus boats, and one of the comments we need white front trunks so people can fish because can't too much. Oh yeah, well, if you're in a money tournament or a team tournament, I've seen a lot of that where you can get on the live scope and both people are casting from the live scope when you're practicing. But in the BFLs, the specific rule is only the boater can fish from the front of the deck. Only the co-angler can fish from the back deck or in the little cockpit area here. So actually, in a BFL, that wouldn't be allowed. And I'm sure same thing in the Toyotas where there's actually co-anglers as opposed to a team tournament. Team tournaments, if you do like a USA Bassin or Illinois Team Trail, and I fished both of those here. You're a team. I fished those. Bill and I went on a couple of those, and Bill, in your events, can you put both fishermen on the front of the deck? Um, I think you're fishing. Was it American Anglers or something this year, or Anglers in Action? I know last year you fished a different circuit here. I hit one up with you. No, you can't. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then in that event, 40% of the field caught zero. So, the catch, per capita was up. 31% got just one bass. So, about 10% from 0 to 1 as compared to the other one. 12% got 2 bass. 14% got 3 bass. So you see the trends here. This is what I looked at before last year. It's just kind of scaled down to a 3-fish limit instead of a 5-fish limit here. And on Lake Murray, the winning boater was showing a red eye. That's a strike king lipless crankbait. He was fishing pretty shallow, 7 to 10 feet. Strike king filler worm on a drop shot, and he was all over the lake. And then the co-angler did a little interview. It was a new tournament director. He was trying to get him up there and talk. He wasn't asking everyone how they caught him like the more experienced tournament directors. But the co-angler said, "Hey, I'm an old school guy. I throw a jig all day, and a lot to be said about just throwing a nice slow bottom bait, especially when you're co-angler, like a jig off the back of the boat." So participation numbers. I actually went to the MLF website today and crunched through the last 10 years of BFLs. And in 2019, as of note here, is the year that Major League Fishing launched the Bass Pro Tour. So they had a Bass Pro Tour in 19. And then at the end of 19, they announced they were buying out FLW. So you see a big dip in that year. That was before COVID. So even though it was COVID-19, it just started coming to America in December of 19 and January 19. And I know it was March 6th that they sent us home for work for like the next 2 years. So, that's how I look at that little blip. And this is a stack graph. So to be generic, I thought we had to look at all tournaments because more people fish in the beginning of the year. And if they see they're still in the running to go to the regional run, then they go to the 2-day tournament at the end of the year, and that's always a little bit lower here. So I looked at the overall for the whole season of all 5 tournaments. So the first tournament is blue, the second tournament, the third tournament. And it starts out at 100 or a little over here. And then it kind of winds down a little bit, maybe towards 80 or 90, for the super tournament. They're averaging around 500 entries a year, and that's 500 co-anglers and 500 boaters here. You see it started tanking a little bit. I don't know, what was going on. Maybe people were just getting disgruntled with FLW. I don't know if you guys have any idea. And then it ramped right back up, probably MLF coming in, hyping it, put some more marketing into it, maybe got people going. And even during COVID, I forgot that was right before COVID. I didn't start fishing DFLs until 2022. And I've noticed a big decline since then. So, this is when live scope really started becoming, more than the occasional boat, and it's just becoming more and more prevalent. So, that's a topic here. What's causing the slope here? It is a noticeable slope. It is similar to what happened back here, and I'm not sure what happened back here. So, if anybody's got ideas on that, I'd love to hear that. Anybody notice the same thing in their divisions if they're separate from the Illini division? Okay. And then, I figured on these Monday nights here, we can kind of talk about what's happened, as far as catch rate, maybe co-angler rate, or what's going on in the industry here. Here's the next few tournaments that will be out there over the next few weeks. And then I will be making a trek down Gunnersville on February 15th, the opening of the Choo Choo division. That should be fun. So, guys, back to why is co-angler participation down? Well, there's a bunch of obvious stuff, but the four kind of topics I thought we might debate here is um, cost could be one aspect of it. Economy's getting tighter, jobs have been tighter. Um, well, economy's been pretty good. Has gone up. COVID really pushed a lot of too many tournaments. There's just so many tournaments and so many anglers now. Um, it's getting a little crazy. Um, I've had some people talking about and sharing some ideas with me about, boaters are spending so much money and they're expecting to win and maybe spending more than they should on boat and electronics because boats have gotten so expensive, gas, practice, hotel rooms, travel. Um, and that's making them a little itchier and a little bit, I get it here. They got a lot of money to come down to a tournament. And then forward-facing sonar, of course, here. There's been a lot of debate on that subject here. Uh, so, guys, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to throw out some questions or throw out some thoughts on, you know, do you think coangling is kind of going down here and diminishing, and why? Um, Obviously, the numbers here from the Illini division show it. Um, I wanted to get to the Kentucky Lake division. I actually, LBL I fished at last year, but uh, didn't have time to do that. Maybe we look at that next time here. As far as cost to enter tournaments, and in 2022 it was $100, and then I think it went to 105, and then I think it was 110 this year. So 5%, that's not even hardly keeping up with inflation. Um, Price to go to tournament or lodge, I'm in St. Louis. I can drive to Shelbyville. That's about 2 hours. I get up at 3 a.m. Get on the get on the road by 3:30. Get there in a couple hours. Take the rent. But going down to Kentucky Lake, I'd have to book a room. Um, I booked at the Moors. It wasn't too bad. They give you a little discount here. I forgot if it was like uh, 95 bucks and 106 or something with taxes. Then actually I found quality inns are a pretty good discount here. They're not low end like some of those motels, but for 85 bucks, 89, 88 bucks before taxes and everything there. Too many tournaments. Um, there's all kind of series. I mean, you got the big, the Bass Master Opens. You got the Bass Pro Tour with MLF. They're kind of king of the weekend warriors here, or the old FLW. Now it's the BFLs. They got the Toyota series as well here. You got team trails, you got bass federations, you got USA Bassman, um, you got Anglers in Action, the American Anglers. Now we got the NFPL here picking up a lot of people who didn't want to forward-facing sonar fish because it's banned completely there. So you saw a bunch of more of the say maybe the old school guys like, and I saw a few of the young guys. Um, Voters being anxious, maybe it's part of it. And then the big topic, forward-facing sonar. Especially if you get into clear water lakes, especially if you get into um, situations like early pre-spawn winter, where the fish are going to be deep, they're going to be out into the abyss, and they're just probably going to be scoping and looking. It's hard to catch them off the back of the boat, but to the same degree here, most every co-angler is going to be in the same circumstance. I went to the Dale Hollow Regional a few years back. It's a big highland reservoir, very clear water, very deep. And the first thing we did was we went to this point, over 40 feet, fished out and scanned over 40 feet. The boater, it was actually Brody on a Toyota circuit. It's a really good angler coming here. And all of a sudden, we're in 80 feet and we're casting down at 35 and 40 feet bass with the Mickey rigs. Well, he would point to the side, he'd point to the front. Also, top waters will call them up there, those smallies. And I caught some fish, but it was really tough. It was really tough. Um, some boaters will help you out. Sometimes they'll start the day out there and go shallow later, or a little bit shallower, or slow down to something where you can slow down the fish and have a chance or see some more targets. Sometimes they'll point out targets. He said, "Hey, if I catch a fish right after after you're done landing it, some probably followed. Well, I'm getting the hook out of my fish, get back right in the water, right up to where I was catching. Or if it's a small one and I'm just boat flipping, some of his buddies probably follow and come right in. And I got a couple of bites that way. I didn't pull them in, didn't get them, but they were there, and he was trying to help me out. He showed me what he was doing. He showed me where they were in the live scope. He showed me how to see them. He shared his techniques. So I learned a ton that day. Well, I'd love to hear from you guys on the topics, and if you got some more questions. Um, I do have another live stream set up for next Monday night. I've been working out the kinks here, so I actually do have a guest. Mr. Jerry Hall is a very experienced boater, and he does some co-angling too down in the Kentucky Lake, Barkley Lake area. You might have seen him. I did a practice video with him last year. I talked about old school bassin. Uh, I'm set up on StreamYard here so I can, get the video going and, from both people and have it be more interactive here. And I've been reaching out to a bunch of Illini and other division anglers and co-anglers to start, getting the schedule together here for a more, kind of interactive live stream with more people and video guests here. So if you guys have some ideas on some guests for topics, please drop them to me. I'd appreciate that. Hi Ben, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Has a boater turned the boat in order to fish where he was live scoping at? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there, Ben. Could you clarify, please? Turn the boat so the co-angler can fish there too? Is that what you meant? Um, according to the boater, I've had some that were very distinct. Kind of, the kind of etiquette is you don't pass um, you don't pass past the center line of the boat. Sometimes they would turn the boat and say, "Hey, there's a pod over there and a pod over there," or they'll point them out where they kind of saw them on the side of the boat or back of the boat where they turn. Some guys are like, "Hey, just throw in right here. Just give me the first few casts," or they'll be like, "I'm going to throw on the left side of this. You can throw on the right side of it." It's all dependent on the boater. You kind of got to talk to them and kind of feel them out here. Um, uh, I always ask them up front. It's kind of like netting. All the boaters have their different kind of takes on how you should net it. So you should have the net in. You shouldn't have the net in. Um, you know, just I'll bring them over to you, or I'll ask for the net when I need the net. A nice little conversation to kind of have up front. Most of you guys can do. Uh-oh. Looks like my connection is unstable. Sorry about that. I just got a notice that the connection went unstable and we had to connect and reconnect again. And I think I saw some other people bounce out too. It does say that there are still 4 or 5 people maybe they're coming back on. We can look at this little dashboard, see what it says. Okay, it says my connection is excellent and I have 5 viewers. So Bill's one, Ben is one. Hey, who else turned out tonight? You want to say hey? Give you some shout outs? We have a history here. When I my very first one was in the Illini division in May of 2022. I was a boater. I had no idea. Just fishing my local places. I thought I was pretty good. Went out 2022, got my butt kicked. Trey McKinney started winning everything in 21 and 22 was his really big come out year. So he cleaned up that year. Um, Bill was my first co-angler here. We had a great time, and we've been buddies ever since. So that's how it works out sometimes. Hello, Brittany. Um, hey Ben, how'd you find out about the channel? Do you fish BFLs? Are you a boater? Are you a co-angler? Where are you from? Okay, maybe we lost Ben there. Okay, so Bill, I didn't forget about your great tackle. That was to you, Ben. How'd you find out about the channel? And do you fish in bass tournaments and where at? I'll probably do a video in the next week or so, Bill, here that's going to feature some of Bill's tackle. Bill makes lures, and he was gracious enough to share some with me. And I've got a special segment on that coming up soon. I stumbled across it. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Do you fish bass tournaments, Ben? Oh, where do you fish as a co-angler, Ben? So to finish my story, I was boater for the first 2 Illini events, which were both on Lake Shelbyville in the Illini division here. Realized I had a lot to learn, and I'm talking to some other people, and I hopped in the back seat for the rest of the season. I third tournament. It's my best finish so far was 6th place. I'm a co-angler. I happened to hop in a boat with a guy who was like 7 years old and has been fishing Ren Lake for 40 years. So he knew it like the back of his hand and taught me a whole bunch of good stuff. So it was a great learning experience. Bass Club out of Swansea. Okay, that's just over the border in St. Louis. just in Illinois there, right? I see the signs when I hit when I go to Rend Lake over 64. Just when I hop on over there, I think I see some exits for it. Right? Awesome. Is that mainly on the Mississippi River? Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I haven't done a lot of river fishing. The Illini division's been on Ohio. You can go to Tennessee out of Paducah for a couple of years. But the regional this year was up on the Mississippi River in the Quad Cities. And see a couple videos up there. That was really cool and different. So welcome aboard, Ben. Well, okay. If you guys don't have a lot of questions, I won't keep you guys too long here. Or if you got a couple more questions. Um, If not, next week we're going to feature Jerry Hall, and I'll have the fancy streaming software. I've already kind of debugged it a little bit and got it going. Oh, I love Lake of Egypt. Yeah, Kincaid. That is on the pleasure fishing um, tour uh, this year. I think my brother-in-law really wants to go down there. I went to school in Carbondale, and we hung out there on the Snowway and all that. And they've got a USA Bass in Division Two here. Looks like a really good lake. Forbes, Kentucky. What do you fish out of Forbes, Kentucky? Um, I've been down to Egypt a few times. I fished Illinois Team Trail in 2023. Love that lake. Love that lake. Just want to go down there some more. Yeah, Carlisle's a big crappie lake. Well, they all are. You know, all the guys in Central Sonoma are big crappie guys. I don't hear guys doing too good on Bassin down there, but Ren's on the BFL circuit, every year. Really good down there. Oh, a Forbes Lake and Kentucky Lake. Yeah, I did LBL last year too. Okay, well, welcome aboard. Um, any more questions or suggestions for future topics, guys? Oh, okay. I just got a text. Some guys are listening in, but they're not logged in, so they can hear but not comment. Okay. Ohio River. Yeah, yeah, out of Paducah. What is your go-to bait? Okay, so um, as a co-angler here, the probably the number one bait for a co-angler, I think a lot of people will agree, is a shake slash Ned rig, pretty similar. More finessey baits, and then jigs too. Um, I love crankbaiting. When you're crankbaiting in the back of the boat and you're a coal, you can get hung up a lot and you're going the wrong way, and it's kind of hard to keep that stuff from getting hung up sometimes. So that's kind of tough. You got fishing. Um, Chatterbaits, lipless, they're not so snaggy. Um, and then jigs and worms. Coming out being a co-angler, usually the front of the guys, he's got a first toss at stuff. So whatever he's doing, you want to be a little bit different, and usually you need to be a little bit more finessey. So typically, more soft plastics, and also for the snack stuff too. But you can actually throw swim baits, demikis and stuff here. But I'd say in 2.5 years of co-angling, probably at least half my fish have been shaky head, and then I'd probably say a jig and a worm, maybe 20% each, and then kind of other. I used crankbaits a lot at first, but I kept getting hung up, especially like rainbow. I mean, the year, not in 24, in 23. Paid $100 entry, and I probably put $100 of tackle in all those rocks and snags we were fishing here. It's just I didn't have my right shaky heads with me. They're a little bit heavy. They should have been a little bit lighter to kind of feather over the rocks. And every time I take out a jig, it would just, it's just, how some of those days where you just get snagged all the time, and some days you won't get snagged at all. Yeah, exactly. I remember I was on Shelbyville with Tim Doggy, and uh, we were fishing rocks, and I had a shaky head. And I went up all down this rock line. Got a couple of bites. I got a 2.5 pound. Never got stuck. He had a shaky head in a jig. He could he got stuck every other cast. It just it's just a bad time sometimes. Yeah, you know what can you do? All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to give a little quick update here, and then like I said, we'll have the fancy video stuff going next week here, where we'll have the interactive conversation. Um, I know Jerry can talk fishing more than I can even. It's pretty amazing, and he's got a great old school fisherman and a great guy here. That should be a good one. And I don't have the next one scheduled yet. I'm working on a few different guests here. So this is only the second week doing the live stream here, trying to get better at it and trying to give you guys some useful information. So, you drop me some comments or DM me or whatever here. My Jeff Anderson Fishing on Facebook, and the is on the page if you want to DM me here or hit it on the community post here. I just posted in comments in here. I believe I hit the check box correctly this time. So comments can be entered and will be tracked after the live stream is over, and it will be on the website. And sorry for last time. I goofed up. I didn't know. I had like 2.5 minutes of kind of like dead time in the beginning of the video. So I used the YouTube editor to get rid of that 2.5 minutes so not everyone would have to wait that time. And it deleted all the chat comments. And obviously, that's the thing people know about, because when I searched it, they said, well, you can't edit it. It'll get rid of the live chat. And there's a lot of good comments in the chat. So um, sorry about losing all those comments here. I will not do that this time, and we will keep them. I was looking at my little window here. Did it show the video window and my graphic, or was it just the graphic whole time? That was pretty boring. I should remember. I guess I'll look at it in replay. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out here. And until next time, keep your minds tight. Thank you very much. Appreciate your patronage. Good night.